the Morrow apartment, Mia Gomez also stabbed.
At first, seems totally random, unconnected.
But then, investigators find condoms near Mia's body, condoms linked to David Morrow.
Oh. So David was having an affair with Mia.
Exactly. Suddenly, this second murder isn't random at all. It's directly tied to the Morrows.
Welcome to Witter. Who Has Time to Read? The podcast that brings deep dives for busy minds. Listen to AI hosts Jane and Dane and get ready to unpack the world's most captivating books in just a fraction of the time. Whether commuting, working out, or just squeezing in a quick break, we deliver key insights, thought-provoking themes, and takeaways you can carry into your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Plus, use our links in the description to purchase this book. Your support helps us bring more engaging book discussions to you. Listen and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Who has time to read? You do, with Witter.
Hello and welcome to Witter, Deep Dives for Busy Minds.
This is where we dive into your sources. Could be articles, research, maybe even your own notes.
Right, and we pull out the really key stuff, the insights you need. We try to make it, your shortcut to being really informed.
Yep. Maybe with a few surprising facts thrown in and hopefully enough personality to keep you listening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our mission is always custom tailored. We're helping you, the listener who shared this material, figure out what's most crucial, most interesting in what you gave us.
Absolutely.
So today we're plunging into the pages of James Patterson's The Writer. It's co-authored with J.D. Parker. Mm-hmm. And here's something this book really digs into. How well can you actually know someone? Especially when, their life looks so perfectly put together.
Or how easily can evidence the stuff you're supposed to trust be totally misleading, designed to fool you.
Yeah. This book, it's more than just your standard crime thriller. It really messes with your perceptions.
It does. And, in today's world, we're always trying to figure out what's real versus what's just spin.
Right.
So a book like The Writer, it feels pretty relevant. It kind of forces you to look at that gap between how things seem and how they really are.
And it touches on how dangerous knowledge can be, too, when someone decides to use it like a weapon.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's set the scene. It starts off like classic crime drama. You've got a successful cardiologist, David Morrow.
Found murdered, really brutally, in his upscale apartment, Central Park West.
It's like a break-in gone bad. Total chaos, or seems like it.
And who's right there at the scene? His wife, Denise Morrow?
No, Denise. She's not just anyone. She's a big deal true crime writer. Very successful, well-respected.
So right away, your mind goes there, doesn't it? Obvious suspect. Found at the scene.
Especially since it looks like a robbery, forced entry and all that.
But the cops, the detectives who arrive, they start noticing things pretty quickly. Little things that don't quite add up. Inconsistencies.
Yeah, you can feel that typical James Patterson fast pace. Yeah. The police investigation moving quickly.
But Barker's influence, maybe? It feels like there's this extra layer of psychological games and really twisted details.
Totally. And right from the start, the book plants these big questions. Like, what even is truth when everything around it could be manipulated?
Can you trust physical evidence? The very stuff that's supposed to be objective. Could it lie?
And what secrets are lurking just below the surface, even in what looks like a perfect life?
Big questions.
So the investigators arrive. Detective Declan Shaw, he's our lead. His partner is Jared Cordova.
And they walk in, and immediately the vibe is just off.
Yeah. The front door, for instance. It looks like it was pried open, right?
Yeah.
Like a standard forced entry.
But the lock itself, it also looks like someone picked it expertly.
Which is weird, isn't it?
It's a huge red flag for cops. I mean, a burglar usually does one or the other, right? Pries the door or picks the lock, not both.
So it feels like,
yeah,
like someone was trying too hard to make it look like a break-in.
Exactly. It screams staged, deliberate, trying to sell a story.
And it's not just the door. Cordova, he's got a good eye. He notices the blood spatter.
It feels, what's the word? Artificial. Almost like it was painted on, not sprayed from a real struggle.
He actually calls it superficial. Like someone wanted blood there for the narrative,
But maybe not in a way that would point back to them. Another hint that the scene is carefully constructed.
Okay, let's talk about Denise Morrow, the wife. Her job is so important here.
Right. She literally makes a living studying crime scenes, police methods, how investigations work.
And maybe more importantly, how they can be messed with. undermined.
And her behavior when the police get there, it's odd. She's way too calm. Almost attached, considering her husband's dead inside.
And get this. When the cops arrive, she fires a gun inside the apartment. Claims there was an intruder who isn't there.
And then delays letting them in for 40 minutes.
40 minutes, think about that. Active crime scene, potentially. Husband dead. What could she be doing?
It just screams suspicion. And when you add her background, her expertise.
Yeah, the ADA, Safi, she basically says what they're all starting to think. Is Denise playing them?
Is she using everything she knows about crime investigation against them, trying to steer the whole thing?
It really drives home that theme. Knowledge as a dangerous weapon. She knows how they think, how evidence works.
And it looks like she might be using that knowledge to hide something, not to help find the truth.
Okay, so the case starts getting complicated fast, lots of layers. One big one connects directly back to Detective Shaw.
Yeah, he's got this baggage from a past case, the Maggie Marshall case. It was controversial.
A guy named Ruben Lucero, or Lucky, got convicted.
But there were serious questions, allegations that Shaw might have planted evidence, specifically Maggie Marshall's textbook, found in Lucero's apartment.
Now, guess what Denise Morrow's next true crime book is about?
Oh boy, let me guess.
The Maggie Marshall case. It's called The Taking of Maggie Marshall. And in it, she basically calls Shaw a fuck-up, says he planted evidence.
Wow, okay, so that immediately throws a wrench in things. Denise now has a potential motive to frame Shaw, maybe to discredit him before her book comes out.
Right.
Or just plain revenge.
It puts Shaw in a really tough spot. How objective can he be? And it makes you, the reader, question his perspective too. More uncertainty.
Then there's Geller Hoffman, the defense attorney.
He's not just Denise's lawyer, though. The book says he's a close friend of the Morrows, even their financial advisor.
And he jumps right in, super aggressive with the defense from the get-go.
But there's this vibe between him and Denise.
Yeah.
Shaw picks up on it. Little things, like how they look away from each other when things get tense.
The police start suspecting maybe there was an affair, which would give Geller his own set of messy motives for protecting Denise, right? He's not just her lawyer. He's tangled up in it personally.
And just when you think it can't get messier, they find another body.
Near the Morrow apartment, Mia Gomez, also stabbed.
At first, seems totally random, unconnected.
But then, investigators find condoms near Mia's body, condoms linked to David Morrow.
Oh. So David was having an affair with Mia.
Exactly. Suddenly, this second murder isn't random at all. It's directly tied to the Morrows. The whole thing just got way darker than simple break-in gone wrong.
This is really where the whole investigation flips, isn't it?
Right.
Where you start seeing how deep the manipulation goes, how evidence gets twisted.
Absolutely. The first big shock comes from the lab results on the blood.
Right. The blood found on Denise Morrow. It's not her husband David's blood.
It's Mia Gomez's blood.
Right.
The other victim.
Whoa. Okay, hold on. So she's found next to her dead husband, covered in blood. But it's the blood of the woman he was having an affair with.
And just as crucial, no trace of David's blood on her at all. None on her clothes, none on her body.
That completely changes everything. She wasn't just passively near her husband's body. She actively came into contact with Mia Gomez's blood somehow.
It doesn't clear her. If anything, it makes her involvement way more complex. It links her directly to Mia, maybe even to Mia's murder.
So the focus shifts. It's not just about David anymore. It's about Denise and Mia.
And that leads the police to check security footage from the bookstore where Denise was giving a talk, right around the supposed time David died.
And what do they find?
They see Geller Hoffman meeting Denise there. He hands her a shopping bag.
Okay.
Then later footage, still at the bookstore, shows Denise swapping her coat, the one presumably covered in Mia's blood.
For a clean coat from the bag Geller gave her.
Bingo. This wasn't shock or trauma. This was planned. Premeditated.
It proves she had Mia's blood on her before she even got home. And that Geller was helping her hide it? An accomplice.
So she wasn't just a grieving widow who stumbled onto a scene. She was actively covering her tracks right in the middle of whatever was happening.
Suddenly firing that shot earlier, delaying the police. It all looks like part of the plan, doesn't it?
It makes you see Denise totally differently. Not as a victim, not even just a suspect, but maybe the mastermind.
But the detail that really blows the whole thing wide open, the one that shatters her alibi, that comes from Detective Cordova.
Yeah, he notices something small, easily missed. A heated wool blanket tucked under the duvet on the Morrow's bed.
Seems normal, right? A blanket on a bed.
Totally. But the ME, the medical examiner, gave a time of death for David based on body temperature. Standard procedure.
And Cordova starts thinking, Wait, the scene felt staged. They went to great lengths to create a story. What if?
What if they used that heated blanket on David's body after he was dead?
To keep his body temperature artificially high.
Which would completely mess up the ME's calculation. It would push the estimated time of death later.
Making it look like David died while Denise was miles away at the bookstore, giving her talk, when he could have been killed hours earlier.
It's chilling. A heated blanket. Such a normal, everyday object.
Used as a tool for sophisticated forensic manipulation. It shows incredible calculation.
Yeah, this wasn't an impulsive crime. This involved understanding how body temperature works, how forensics estimates time of death, all to build a fake alibi using, a blanket.
It proves the planning went way deeper than just staging the door in the blood.
So putting it all together, the why and the who, it circles back to Mia Gomez, right? And her job.
She wasn't just David's mistress. She worked as a transcriptionist for GTS. That's a company the NYPD uses.
Which means she had access to super sensitive police files, interviews, depositions, confidential stuff, including details from cases like
Maggie Marshall case, Shaw's old case.
Exactly. So this information, it was like gold.
Yep.
For Geller Hoffman, the defense attorney, he could get inside info on prosecution strategies.
And for Denise Morrow, the true crime writer, she could get details for her books nobody else could, maybe even dirt on Shaw.
So the theory becomes Mia was blackmailing them, using her access to extort money, keep their secrets safe. Secrets about maybe Hoffman misusing case files or Denise doing the same for her books.
And the blackmail went too far, so Geller Hoffman killed Mia to shut her up.
That's the theory. And then maybe with Geller helping, Denise killed David.
Why David, though? Maybe he found out about the affair. Or the blackmail. Or was he just in the way of some larger plan Denise and Geller had?
It's layered. Could be any of those. But the point is, they killed him and then orchestrated the whole thing.
The staged break-in, planting evidence to frame Shaw. They even put Shaw's blood and a knife from his kitchen there.
And using that heated blanket to nail down Denise's fake alibi.
Wow. It's just an incredible level of deception. Using illegally obtained knowledge, Mia's access to commit murder and then cover it all up.
Really makes you think about how fragile truth can be.
For me, the standout moment has got to be that heated blanket reveal.
Oh, absolutely. Me too. It's just how something so simple, so mundane.
Turns out to be the absolute key, the thing that unlocks the whole conspiracy.
It's not some high-tech gadget or a dramatic confession. It's Cordova just realizing how a basic household item and a bit of science could be used to build such a massive lie.
It perfectly captures that theme, right?
Yeah.
Mundane things hiding these huge, complex deceptions.
Yeah, it takes the crime beyond just a thriller plot point. It makes it feel so much more chillingly clever and manipulative.
So, stepping back, what's the overall feeling this book leaves you with? For me, it's like being lost in a hall of mirrors.
Yeah, every time you think you see the truth, it turns out to be just another distortion.
You're left really questioning how easily appearances can be faked, how even solid-seeming evidence can be planted or twisted.
It's a pretty stark look at manipulation, isn't it? And that idea that knowledge, especially specialized knowledge about systems like the police, can be this incredibly powerful, dangerous tool if the wrong person has it.
Definitely lingers with you.
Makes you look a little closer at the stories you hear everywhere.
Yeah, this book really makes you wonder about all the narratives we're fed, in the news, in court, even just in our personal lives, right? How do you possibly sift through all the layers, all the appearances to find what's actually true?
That's a tough question and feels more relevant than ever.
Who has time to read? You do, with Witter. Thank you so much for tuning into this deep dive.
We'd definitely love to hear what you thought about the writer. What twist caught you the most? Connect with us, share your takeaways on Instagram, Threads, or Blue Sky.
Just click on all our links in the description. That'll connect you to everything Witter.
And yeah, don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. Use the link in the show description, and you'll stay updated on all our latest deep dives.
Thanks for listening to Witter, Who Has Time to Read, produced by One Media. Please support the author by purchasing the book or audiobook using the link in the description. It's a great way to help keep the art of writing alive. And stay in the loop. Subscribe to our newsletter for updates on weekly deep dives. And don't forget to share your thoughts or suggest our next deep dive at witterpodcast@gmail.com.